Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Look, we get it. Pregnancy can feel like you're suddenly drowning in information, right? It's just a lot. So today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. This is not about making you scared or giving you a long list of don'ts. Nope. This is about empowerment. We're going to build a toolkit together, walking through 10 key things to help you feel confident and in control, making the best choices for you and your little one.
And this right here, this is really our whole mindset for today. Every choice you make, it's like you're laying down the foundation, brick by brick, for a whole new person. Our goal today is to hand you the blueprint, to give you the knowledge you need so you can build that future with confidence, not anxiety. Okay, so a foundation for life. Why does this stuff matter so much? Well, it's pretty simple when you think about it. Your health, your environment, that is your baby's entire world for 9 months. Every little choice helps shape that foundation, affecting everything from how their tiny organs form in those first few weeks to their health for years to come. So let's get real for a second. What are the stakes here? What are we actually trying to steer clear of? Well, major health organizations are all on the same page about this. Certain exposures can lead to some really serious complications. Things like birth defects, preterm labor, low birth weight. You see them here. Now, again, this isn't to scare you, not at all. It's about knowing why these guidelines exist. It's about knowing what you're protecting. All right, let's dive into our first big topic, and it's probably the one we get the most questions about. What goes in? We're talking about the key consumables, the foods, the drinks, all the things you need to be mindful of. Okay, before we jump into the list, there's a sciencey word we gotta know, and it's super important. Teratogen. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Basically, a teratogen is anything, and I mean anything, a chemical, a drug, even an infection that can mess with a baby's development. A lot of the things we're about to talk about, they fall into this category. All right, first on our list is a big one, alcohol. And on this, the experts like the CDC don't mince words. There is just no known safe amount, period. Why? Because the science is crystal clear. Alcohol zips right across the placenta and can directly harm a baby's developing brain. It can lead to fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. So the only 100% safe bet? Zero alcohol. Next up, let's talk about nicotine. And this is crucial. We're talking about both smoking and vaping. The main problem with nicotine is that it's like putting a clamp on a hose. It constricts blood vessels, which cuts down the flow of oxygen and nutrients getting to your baby. And listen, I know a lot of people think vaping is a harmless alternative, but it's just not. It still delivers that nicotine, along with a whole cocktail of other chemical you don't want. Okay, medications. This is a big one, and it's not just about prescriptions. We're talking about everything. Even something as common as ibuprofen can cause problems, especially in the 3rd trimester. Same goes for certain acne meds and even natural herbal remedies, which often aren't regulated. So here's the bottom line, and this is truly non-negotiable. Before you take anything new, a pill, a supplement, a tea, you have to talk to your doctor first. No exceptions. Let's stick with what you're consuming and talk about food. This chart breaks it down nicely. First up, raw fish. Yep, that means most sushi. The risks are bacteria, parasites, and mercury. Next, those delicious unpasteurized soft cheeses, and also deli meats and hot dogs. For both of these, the big bad guy is a bacteria called listeria. The only way to make those deli meats safe? You gotta heat them up until they are literally steaming hot. And that bacteria we just mentioned, listeria, get a load of this number, 20 times. According to the CDC, pregnant women are up to 20 times more likely to get sick from it. Now, it's still a rare infection, for sure, but the consequences, if you do get it, can be absolutely devastating. And that right there is why the food safety rules are so strict. All right, we've talked a lot about what goes in your body. So now let's switch gears and talk about what's around you, your environment. Because it turns out it's not just what you eat and drink. Your surroundings play a massive role too. And we're talking about things you might not even think twice about normally, everyday household stuff. Paints when you're setting up the nursery, strong cleaning chemicals, even some plastics. They can contain things called VOCs that you can breathe in or absorb through your skin. And since these can be teratogens, making some simple swaps like using natural cleaners or just opening a window for ventilation can make a huge difference. Okay, here's a question I bet a lot of you have wondered about, especially if you love a good soak in a hot tub or sitting in a sauna. How hot is too hot? And here is your answer. 102 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the magic number you need to remember. All the experts agree. Letting your core body temperature get above that mark raises the risk of neural tube defects, especially in those critical early weeks. And that's exactly why you'll hear that hot tubs, saunas, and even super hot baths are on the avoid list for now. Just one last thing on the environment: radiation. Now, let's be clear, the dose from a single necessary X-ray is usually super low, but the guidance is pretty straightforward. If it's not absolutely essential for your health, it's best to just wait. This is especially true in that first trimester when your baby's cells are just multiplying like crazy. Okay, we have spent a lot of time talking about what to avoid. But what you do is just as important, if not more so. So let's flip the script. Let's end this by focusing on the empowered path forward. All the positive things you can do to support a super healthy pregnancy. So here it is, your healthy pregnancy checklist. These are some of the absolute best habits you can start. First, take those prenatal vitamins. Folic acid is the superstar here. It's what builds the baby's brain and spinal cord, and it's so important. Next, stay active. Even just a little bit each week helps with your mood, your energy, everything. And then there are the simple things that have a huge impact. Sleeping on your side helps blood flow to the baby. Drinking plenty of water is key, and finding ways to chill out and manage stress. It all adds up. You know, maybe the single most important thing to remember through all of this is that you are not in this alone. You really aren't meant to do this by yourself. So build that team around you. Your partner, your friends, your family, your doctors and nurses. That support network is everything. It's what makes this journey not just healthy, but happy. Wow, we've covered a ton of ground, haven't we? But it all boils down to just taking one small step. So we want to leave you with this one question to think about. After everything we've talked about, what's one positive step, no matter how small, that you can take for yourself and your baby today? Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.